Christina, how are you? Wait a minute. What is that poster in the back?
On this side,
Yeah.
it's Depeche Mode.
All right. All right. Listen, man, I was in college when Depeche Mode started, so I'm a Depeche Mode fan.
I'm a big music person, so it's
All right.
First of all, thank you for making a show about wrestling that even I, as someone who only knows the absolute bare minimum, can enjoy.
Love that. We love that, Christina. That's the best news that we could hear.
I feel like genre doesn't matter if you tell a great story with great characters and a full world. So thank you.
Well, you getting the word out about that, so people aren't just terrified and think to themselves, this show isn't for me, is the most important thing.
Michael, I'm curious. I mean, you currently seem like the guy with the golden touch. You've gone from assistant on Community to head writer on Loki, a writer on Doctor Strange. You're doing the Star Wars project. You're creating this show. What most blows your mind from where you started out to now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very fortunate. I guess that I'm having to do all my interviews over Zoom. It doesn't feel real. I still feel like I'm just in college because it's all, you hit it big during COVID. It's kind of just, what's different? No, I mean, what blows my mind is the people I get to collaborate with. And that might sound like hot air bullshit, but it's true. Like, and that's the dream come true for me. Is I'm still relatively young and new in my career, and I'm getting to work with people with so much experience, and so everything for me is I'm still learning. And so, whether that's working with Sam Raimi on Doctor Strange, or it's like Mike's a great example of that on Heels, and he came on as the showrunner of Heels when we kind of brought it back to life. When I was midway through, I guess on the whole Loki process, and I learned a lot from him, and it was great to suddenly have a new friend who had been a showrunner before and who had his own wealth of experience and everything, and that helped me. So I just feel fortunate with the folks that I get to collaborate with for real, because it makes me look better, and it actually makes me better.
Mike, you've been amassing producing and writing credits, but you're primarily known to audiences as an actor, and you're still acting in this show. What made you want to run the show, and what are you enjoying about being a showrunner that you don't get from acting?
Well, as you can see from Michael's answer, he's a very generous guy who's had just a meteoric and deserved rise to success because he works really, really hard. There's a lot of Jack Spade and Michael Waldron, none of the bad qualities. No, but he works really, really hard, and he really, really cares. And so, yes, I have been doing this for a long time, and I'm like everyone else. I wake up, and when one job ends, I don't know what the next job is. And I started out writing plays because I wasn't necessarily I wanted something to do with the energy, the creative energy that I had, and the idea that when you're an actor, all you have is your face, and you have your ability, but that it's not necessarily enough to carry your artistic pursuits. And what am I going to do with my time? And I love this business. I love storytelling. And so I started to, when my kids were just younger, take on and try to do more of the producing, writing on Shameless, and creating a show for Starz. And so when this opportunity came up, I was just amazed at the writing and the world that Michael had done. You're always, listen, every day you're an actor, you're waiting for your agent to call and say, I read this script, it's going to be great. And then you read it, you want to be a part of it. It's no different when you're a writer or a showrunner. One of the reasons I got involved in this is because I knew that, we had a really well-rounded world that was already created. And I knew enough, or I had enough confidence in my ability to produce, that if we found the right cast, and we had a great directors, Pete Siegel and Jessica Lowry. The hardest thing is the script. And then if you have it, and you have the support of a network and studio, great actors. That now it's fun. Now it's fun. Now it literally is it's a charge to make it. So, that for me, it's just like, is, and then once I was the showrunner, I knew I could cast myself. I'd be like, come on, you guys now.
How far ahead are you guys thinking? Have you developed a second season? Are there things you're learning from doing a first season that could help make a second season easier?
I just want to say, Michael's already figured out 5 years. What scares me is that then we have to actually start typing those up, but he knows.
Yeah, I mean, this show has lived in my head since 2013. So I've had a lot of time to think about where it might go when, and we've teed up with this first season. We've launched, I think was an exciting adventure in its own way. And so, yeah, there's that's the great thing about doing a show set in the world of wrestling, is it's a far reaching world populated with a lot of different crazy characters and with, a batshit crazy history and mythology to keep pulling from. So we're never going to be wanting for source material, so to speak. So it's a rich world, that I think, yeah, there's a little more meat on the bone, I think.
There's 3 more episodes coming your way, Christina, and 5, 6, and 7. And I think you're really going to enjoy if you enjoyed the first 4. And I think that one of the things that we set up is, as a little bit of success comes their way, how do people operate when they can feel like that success is coming? And I think that's what we're set up for in the second season, is that, there are people who are emotionally intertwined with one another and don't like how they're being treated. And, maybe you have, or certainly all of us have, worked at jobs that, even though they might have been compensating us with money and benefits, it wasn't the right thing because emotionally it wasn't the right thing. I think that's what we can continue to go at with the wrestling world. And I do think that these guys, the story that we're telling of the men and women of this place, they are just like the band that if their song is heard on the radio, it will take off. Michael and I are perfect examples of 2 guys. He growing up in Georgia, I grew up in New Hampshire. We wanted to be in this business. People are like, what? And then you go do it and you keep grinding. And then suddenly you get an opportunity to tell stories that the whole world gets to see. That's these guys that we think, these men and women at the DWL, what they're capable of if they just get the exposure.
How challenging is it to have so many great supporting characters and not enough time to delve into all of them as deep as I would imagine you want to? I mean, are you already coming up with spin-off ideas?
That is a fantastic question. I'll answer it from an actor's perspective and as a writer, and Michael can say this as a showrunner because he's had a lot of experience doing that, certainly on Loki and with this show. But the thing about it is, this happens in the story of heels, exactly what happens in every TV show. Rooster saying, I just want to push. I just want to get a chance for the title belt. And every actor, when they open up the script, now some actors are like, hey man, I get the next 4 weeks off. Great. They still got to pay me the same amount of money. That's not most actors. They want to be front and center. They want to have emotional material. Yes, they're getting paid, but what they want to do is they want to be seen. They want to be recognized. They want to work. And so they want more. And so it's a very perceptive question, because I was just working on a series, Snowpiercer, where there's 25 speaking characters in a 40-minute show. That's a lot of mouths to feed. It literally are mouths to feed with lines. And you have to be thinking about that all the time. And so Michael did a very good job this year in giving everyone material. But next year, knock on wood, if we come back, that is foremost in our mind. How do you give enough material to everyone?
Yeah, I mean, especially the women. I love the women on the show, and I want to see so much more of them as well.
Well, you got it. So you have to watch 5, 6, 7, and 8. Because it's not going where you think, and not to tip anything. There's so much talking and doing that they do in these episodes that I think you're going to be surprised given what the idea of this show is. And that this is the situation that Michael has set up in this show that I think is surprising and great.
Well, thanks so much, you guys. I appreciate you talking to me about it. I absolutely will be watching the rest of the season. So thank you.
All right. But listen, Mary McCormack, Allison Luff, Alice Barrett Mitchell, and Kelly Berglund have, when I say monologues, I mean pages of talking, and they get a lot more to do. And that's what I think is surprising and interesting about how Michael set up this world and how we delivered it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Christina.